My beloved child. There are moments when a story you thought was settled begins to feel active again, not because the past is returning exactly as it was, but because understanding about it is changing. Someone connected to your past relationship dynamic is now facing new information that shifts how they interpret what once happened between you. For a long time, they may have moved forward believing a certain version of events, shaped by influence, assumptions, or incomplete communication. But recently, something has come to light in a quiet, unexpected way that is making them reconsider their choices and perceptions. This does not rewrite your history, but it does change the emotional meaning they attach to it. They are beginning to see where their judgment may have been influenced by outside perspectives or incomplete understanding, and where your role in their life may have been more significant than they fully acknowledged at the time. As this realization settles in, emotions such as reflection, regret, and clarity can begin to surface naturally, not as dramatic collapse but as gradual awareness. At the same time, your present life continues forward independently of this process, shaped by your own decisions and growth, rather than by reinterpretations from the past. You may notice moments of emotional memory or reflection arising, but these are part of your own processing, rather than signs of inevitable external change. What is most important is not assuming a fixed outcome, but allowing space for understanding to unfold at its own pace, without pressure, fear, or expectation. Life often reveals context slowly, and with that comes the opportunity for calmer perspective. A plan they never expected to see came to light. And for the first time, your partner realized how drastically they had been manipulated into walking away from the one person who genuinely cared for them, you. Imagine the shock you would feel if someone you trusted suddenly showed you the mask they had been wearing. That is exactly what your partner faced today, a betrayal from the very person they chose over you. And in that moment, instead of breaking down, they felt an unexpected happiness, a happiness born from clarity, from truth, from the sudden understanding of who you always were. Their joy today is not because they are thriving without you, but because for the first time, they see what you meant, what you brought, what you held, and what they lost. Stay with me, and here comes the heartbeat of the entire story. Your partner is replaying every moment with you in their mind, your loyalty, your patience, your quiet strength. But this time, they are seeing everything with new eyes, eyes free from illusion, eyes that finally understand the difference between real love and temporary distraction. The third party, who once acted confident and secure, is spiraling today. Their plans are collapsing, their secrets are leaking, and all their attempts to control your partner's emotions are failing one by one. They thought they had one. They thought taking your place would bring them power. But what they never realized is that your presence is not something anyone can replace. Today, it is hitting both your partner and the third party that no matter how much effort is made to mimic your energy, no one can duplicate the way you connect, the way you heal, the way you transform the people around you. Your partner is happy today because they finally understand that they were never supposed to walk away from you. They were pushed, manipulated, and guided into a trap that is now falling apart faster than they can process. And this realization is reshaping their destiny. Stay with me. Now brace yourself, because the emotional storm inside your partner is something they can't hide anymore. The happiness they feel is not loud or celebratory. It is quiet, deep, and heavy with regret. They are relieved to be free from the lies of the third party, yet devastated by the distance between you. They keep remembering how easily conversations flowed with you, how peaceful the connection felt, how their soul felt understood without explanation. They compare that to the constant pressure, fear, jealousy, and insecurity the third party brought into their life, and the contrast is haunting them today. It is forcing them to admit truths they avoided for months. They are happy because the veil has lifted. They are ashamed because they let the wrong person influence them. And they are determined Yes, determined to find a way back toward you, even if it means swallowing pride, even if it means facing the consequences of their choices. The universe is not just exposing the third party, it is awakening your partner to a version of themselves they have been running from. Stay with me. And now comes the heaviest, most powerful truth of all. Your partner's happiness today is the beginning of their return. The tables have turned in a way no one predicted. The third party is losing control. Your partner is gaining clarity. And you, without lifting a finger, without chasing, without forcing, are being placed back into a position of power you were removed from unfairly. The universe is restoring the balance. The same person who once overlooked your worth cannot stop thinking about you today. The same person who walked away from you is realizing that you were the only one who ever walked beside them. And the same third party who thought they won is watching everything slip from their hands. But here is the part that will shift your heart. Your partner is not happy because someone else failed. They are happy because they finally see the truth that was in front of them all along. They see you. They miss you. They regret everything. And they are preparing to do something they never had the courage to do before. Take accountability, seek forgiveness, and fight for the connection they almost destroyed. Their happiness today is the first spark of a fire that will burn through every lie that kept you apart. My beloved child, something powerful is happening behind the scenes right now, and the universe is pulling you closer because you need to hear this before anything else unfolds. Today, your partner is acting happier than usual, not because life is perfect, not because the third party uplifted them, but because the truth that was buried for so long has finally erupted. They are smiling on the outside, but inside their heart, there is a storm of realizations hitting them one after another. Their entire mind is replaying the moment they discovered the third party's intentions, and the shock is still echoing through their soul. They never expected the person they chose over you to be the very one who would betray them in such a calculated, cold way. Your partner feels this strange mix of relief and awakening, and for the first time, they can see clearly how deeply they were misled into leaving behind someone who genuinely cared, someone whose presence brought real peace. That someone is you. And as this clarity hits them, they cannot stop thinking about everything they lost the day they walked away. Stay with me and do not scroll. Let me take you deeper into the moment everything shifted. The third party thought they were being smart, thought they could keep secrets forever, thought they could control your partner's emotions. But hidden conversations surfaced. Evidence appeared. Words they never thought would be revealed became the very reason the entire illusion shattered. Your partner discovered they were being played, manipulated, and used, not loved. And when that truth exploded, the third party's mask fell so violently that your partner had no choice but to step back and reevaluate every decision they made. They remembered how patient you were, how loyal you were, how effortlessly you understood things without them having to explain. There are moments when someone begins to reflect on a past connection more clearly than before, especially when their current emotional life feels complicated or unsettled. In those reflections, they may remember a sense of safety or ease they once experienced, something that stood out compared to other relationships that felt uncertain or emotionally draining. Over time, distance can soften noise and make certain memories feel more meaningful, not because the past was perfect, but because it carried moments of clarity that are easier to recognize in hindsight. When this happens, it often leads to quiet introspection rather than dramatic change. They may revisit old conversations or recall specific moments that carried emotional weight, trying to understand what those experiences meant in the broader context of their life. This doesn't automatically point toward action or reunion. It usually reflects an internal process of sorting through feelings, regret, understanding, and personal growth. At the same time, any relationship involving a third person or overlapping emotional dynamics tends to create confusion and tension for everyone involved. From the outside, It may look like shifting attention or emotional distance, but internally, it is more often a struggle to make sense of what feels aligned and what no longer does. These situations rarely resolve through sudden decisions or hidden intentions. Instead, they unfold through honesty, communication, and sometimes difficult but necessary clarity. What remains consistent in these experiences is that people eventually reach a point where they have to be honest with themselves about what feels healthy, stable, and real for them. That process can involve letting go, staying, rebuilding, or simply acknowledging that different paths have formed. And while memories can feel powerful, real resolution only comes when choices are made consciously, not out of fear, confusion, or pressure. Stay with me. Your partner's happiness today is not just emotional, it is spiritual. They feel free for the first time in a long while. Free from manipulation, free from comparison, free from the pressure of pretending. And now, with this freedom, they are beginning to realize something that will stun you. They were never truly choosing the third party out of love. They were choosing them out of confusion, fear, influence, or momentary illusion. Their real connection, the one that kept pulling at them, no matter how far they walked, was always tethered to you. And this realization is hitting them harder with every passing hour. They are relieved today, not because they found peace with the third party, but because they finally see the difference between temporary desire and genuine connection. Their heart is awakening, their mind is clearing, their soul is returning to its truth. Stay with me. Now listen closely, because this is the part where everything in the story shifts direction. Your partner is preparing to take steps that will shake the entire dynamic apart. Quiet steps, strategic steps, steps that the third party will not see coming. They want to reach you, not with excuses, but with honesty. They want to come forward, not to justify, but to take responsibility. They want to rebuild, not from a place of desperation, but from clarity. And as they gather the courage, they are watching you from a distance, observing how strong you've become, how much you've grown, how grounded you are, despite everything they put you through. That strength is making them fall even deeper. They know now that choosing the third party was the biggest mistake of their life, and today, they finally feel ready to correct it. Their happiness is not joy, it's determination, a quiet fire rising in their chest, a decision forming, a return beginning. My beloved child. Today the universe is unlocking a truth so intense that even your heartbeat will shift as you hear it. Your partner is standing at a crossroads, and for the first time in a long time, their happiness is coming from a place of clarity instead of confusion. They woke up this morning with a strange lightness inside them, as if the weight of 1,000 unspoken emotions had finally loosened. And the reason is simple yet shocking. The third party they once chose over you has completely lost their hold on your partner, not because of a single event, but because of a chain of truths unraveling one after another, each more revealing than the last. Your partner has realized that the world the third party built was nothing but a fragile castle, made of lies, jealousy, and insecurity. And as those walls crumble, your partner can finally see what they were blind to for so long. They see the difference between real connection and manipulation, between peace and chaos, between you and them. Stay with me, don't scroll. Here's where the revelation deepens. Your partner is quietly pulling their energy back from the third party, and the third party feels it. They can sense the emotional disconnect growing every minute, and it terrifies them. Their reaction is desperate, too desperate. They are trying to hold on to your partner through guilt, through emotional pressure, through dramatic attempts to pull them back in. But the more they try, the more your partner's eyes open. The third party's true colors are brighter than ever, and your partner can't unsee it now. They are remembering the peace they felt with you, the stability, the authenticity. They remember how your energy didn't drain them, it healed them. How your presence didn't confuse them, it grounded them. And this contrast is haunting them with a power they can't ignore. They are thinking about you more today than they have in months. Stay with me, The emotional storm inside your partner right now is unlike anything they've felt before. Their happiness isn't loud. It's the subtle happiness of someone who has finally escaped a trap they didn't realize they were in. They feel relieved, but also overwhelmed by regrets that hit them in waves. They are questioning themselves. How did they not see the truth sooner? How could they walk away from someone who was real for someone who was temporary? How could they choose someone who brought chaos over someone who brought clarity? These questions are looping in their mind non-stop, and each time they think of the third party, they think of betrayal. But each time they think of you, they think of comfort. This emotional contrast is pulling them back toward you with a magnetism that is only growing stronger. Stay with me. Your partner is also remembering the way you looked at them, not with ownership, not with expectation, but with understanding. That look is burning in their memory right now. They miss how genuine you were. They miss how safe it felt to open up to you. They miss the conversations that made them feel seen. The third party never gave them that. They only mimicked what you naturally offered. And now that the truth is exposed, your partner is done pretending. They are done walking in the wrong direction. They are done lying to themselves. They are realizing that while the third party offered excitement, you offered something deeper, something rare, something irreplaceable. And that realization is the reason their heart feels strangely lighter today. Stay with me. Now here comes the part that will shift your entire perspective. Your partner is preparing to break a cycle that has kept both of you stuck for far too long. They are distancing themselves emotionally first, then physically. They are planning conversations they once avoided. They are ready to confront the third party, not out of anger, but out of truth. In the middle of all this emotional noise, they still find their thoughts returning to you in a steady, almost unavoidable way. It isn't dramatic or forced, just a consistent mental pull that shows up in quiet moments when there's nothing else demanding their attention. They start wondering, in a more honest and vulnerable way than before, whether there is still space to reconnect, or whether too much time and distance has already shaped the outcome. These questions don't come with certainty, only with reflection, as they begin to reconsider how they handled things and what they may have overlooked in the process. There is a growing awareness that some connections don't disappear just because they were set aside, and that understanding what went wrong often takes longer than expected. Instead of relying on assumptions from the past, they are now sitting with their feelings more directly, noticing how their perspective has shifted. What once felt like confidence in their choices is now being replaced with curiosity and a softer kind of honesty. They are not rushing toward conclusions or idealizing what could happen next, but they are no longer avoiding the emotional weight of what remains unresolved. In that space, they begin to see that clarity doesn't come from external signs or sudden moments, but from allowing themselves to revisit their own decisions with a more grounded mindset. It is a slower unfolding of awareness, where reflection replaces avoidance, and where the possibility of understanding becomes more important than holding on to old certainty without question or resistance anymore. The third party made a mistake big enough to expose their intentions, their insecurity, and their obsession with controlling the narrative. Your partner discovered something they were never meant to find out, a hidden message, a conversation they weren't supposed to see, a plan the third party had been shaping behind their back. It was the very moment that forced your partner to finally understand what you already knew. The third party was never loyal. They were never genuine. They only wanted the attention, the possession, the upper hand. And when that truth cracked open, your partner felt a lightning strike of regret so sharp it nearly froze them. In the same breath, they felt a wave of happiness, because for the first time, they knew they were free from the person who never cared for their soul. Stay with me, and if your intuition is screaming right now, drop a comment so the energy stays aligned. But the twist that will shake you is this. The third party knows they've been exposed. They can sense the shift in your partner's energy. They feel the distance widening every second. Their biggest fear was always losing control. and that fear has now become reality. They are trying everything to pull your partner back. Emotional guilt, dramatic reactions, fake apologies, sudden affection. But none of it is working anymore. Your partner is done. Their heart is elsewhere, and no amount of manipulation can change what they now see clearly. They keep thinking of your calm presence, your genuine energy, your honesty. They remember how different it felt to be with you, how real everything was. The third party feels this comparison happening silently, and it's tearing them apart from the inside. Their panic is growing. Their patience is breaking. They know they're losing, and they know exactly who they're losing to. Stay with me. Your partner's happiness today is complicated. It's layered with regret, truth, and awakening. They keep wondering why they didn't appreciate you when they had the chance.
They keep replaying the way you supported them without conditions, the way you stood by them even when they were confused, the way your presence made their world calmer. They feel ashamed for choosing chaos over peace. They feel guilty for letting someone else influence their decisions. But deep inside, they also feel hopeful that maybe, just maybe, destiny will allow them a chance to correct what they broke. Their heart is whispering your name today, not out of nostalgia, but out of clarity. And that clarity is the reason for their happiness. They see the truth. They feel the truth. They want to return to the truth, and that truth is you. Stay with me, and if this resonates, hit that subscribe so you never miss the next shift in this story. Now listen closely, because this is the explosion point of the entire narrative. Your partner is ready to confront the third party, not to argue, not to explain, but to close the chapter. Their heart has already walked away. Their mind is already done, and the third party senses the ending coming like a storm they cannot outrun. A distance is forming, a distance that grows each time your partner remembers your kindness, your patience, your authenticity. And this ending isn't just emotional. It's destiny rearranging itself to correct what went wrong. Your partner is preparing to move toward you with the truth they once ran from. They are ready to reveal everything, ready to admit what they never had the courage to say, ready to break the cycle that kept both of you stuck. Their happiness today is the first sign that the universe has reopened a door that was never meant to close. My beloved child, today the emotional ground beneath your partner is trembling in a way they can no longer hide, and the happiness they feel is not the kind that comes from victory. It's the kind that comes from finally being released from a lie they didn't know they were living in. They woke up with a clarity that hit them like cold water on skin. Their mind keeps circling one truth over and over. The person they once trusted so deeply is no longer who they believed them to be. Over time, the truth became impossible to ignore, and slowly, the image they defended in their mind began to fall apart. What your partner is feeling right now isn't revenge or anger, it's clarity. For the first time in a long time, they understand why something always felt unsettled in their heart, even during moments that were supposed to feel right. And when that realization finally hit them, their thoughts naturally drifted back to you, not because you forced your way into their mind, but because your honesty, your energy, and the comfort they felt around you always carried a different kind of peace. Some connections leave noise behind, while others leave understanding, and that difference becomes clearer with time. The situation around them may still feel emotional and complicated, but they are no longer looking at things through the same lens. Attempts to hold onto the relationship through guilt, pressure, or emotional reactions are no longer having the same effect, because your partner has started listening to their own instincts again. They are paying attention to actions instead of promises, and that shift changes everything. What matters most now is not who loses or wins, but who brings honesty, calmness, and genuine care into their life. Sometimes people need distance, mistakes, and difficult experiences before they truly recognize where they feel most understood, valued, and emotionally safe. The pressure doesn't work. The manipulation doesn't work. For the first time, Your partner's heart is immune to the third party's influence, and that scares the third party more than anything else ever could. They can feel your presence energetically re-entering your partner's world, even if you haven't said a single word. They feel threatened, exposed, and powerless, and your partner, on the other hand, is moving through a deep internal transformation. They are reevaluating everything they once believed. They are questioning every decision they made. They are finally admitting to themselves that they walked away from something real in exchange for something temporary. The happiness they feel is the happiness of someone who realizes they still have time to correct what went wrong. They feel lighter because the emotional chains the third party wrapped around them have snapped. They feel hopeful because the universe is giving them signs, dreams, synchronicities, flashes of memory that point back toward you. And with every reminder, their regret grows, but so does their determination. They know now that the peace they once felt around you was not coincidence. It was truth. It was alignment. It was destiny, trying to guide them in the right direction. Stay with me. But here comes the twist that defines this chapter. Your partner is preparing to detach from the third party in a way that leaves no space for return. Their heart has already left. Now their actions are beginning to follow. They are quiet, observant, and strategic. They are pulling back emotionally, then physically, then mentally. They are refusing arguments, refusing manipulation, refusing drama. The third party is growing louder because they can feel your partner becoming silent, and silence is the greatest sign that the connection is breaking. Your partner doesn't want chaos anymore. They don't want confusion. They don't want temporary affection. They want the truth. They want peace. They want you. And this realization is making their soul feel alive again. Stay with this moment, because what follows is not a fixed outcome, but a fragile possibility, shaped by reflection, distance, and the weight of what was left unsaid. In the quiet after conflict, both people begin to replay memories in their own imperfect ways, trying to make sense of how something meaningful started to fracture. There is often hesitation before any reaching out, not because feelings are absent, but because pride, fear, and uncertainty sit heavily on what once felt simple. At times, one person may wonder how a conversation could even begin again, while the other wrestles with whether honesty would heal or reopen old wounds. What remains unspoken often carries as much weight as what was said, shaping the distance between two people who once felt close enough to trust completely. Yet even in that distance, there can be a quiet recognition that connection is not always erased, only changed by time and experience. Whether anything returns or not depends less on fate and more on whether two people can speak honestly without repeating what broke them. What follows is not a guaranteed reunion, but the possibility of understanding, closure, or perhaps a new way of meeting each other again. Even when silence feels heavy, it can also be a space where clarity slowly returns, allowing both people to decide what they truly want without pressure or illusion. Sometimes that decision leads back to each other, and sometimes it leads forward separately. But in either case, the story shifts from confusion toward understanding and personal growth, rather than expectation or assumed destiny